Hey, welcome everybody. This is Blind Date with a Book. Once again, February 23rd, 2021. We are having such a blast. This is Blind Date with a Book. We've got four more events to happen, four more days. Four more days? I don't know. It all ends on the 28th with a wrap party. How about that? Um, I don't do math. So if you need the links or you want to figure out what is coming up for the last few days, jump over to our Facebook page. Everything is listed in the events tab of our Facebook page. All the links and everything are in there. Share it with your friends. Come join us for the last little bit of fun we're having this month. While you guys are going to do this, the magic, hey, we're curious where you came from and how you heard about us poll. I would appreciate everybody filling that out for me. This will help me be more effective for the next festival. Um, while you're doing that, Pages Promotions has a virtual pop up bookshop on our website. It is a cozy little place where you can order autographed books and book plates to support indie authors. We are acting simply as a conduit for these authors. We are not taking a share of their royalties, a cut of their proceeds. We're not doing that. 100% of all the sales go directly to the authors. We're just creating a way for you to connect with them. If you'd like to get a book plate, just when you see the author's name on the website, click their name. That'll take you either to their email or their contact page of their website so that you can request a signed book plate. There they are. Andrew's got them on his screen. Let me stop sharing my screen so you guys can see that real quick. There it is. Andrew has them. They are limited edition. They are numbered, and all the authors will sign them for you. They have double sticky back thingies on the back of them. Kate's got one too. There's the back. So you can stick them inside your books, put them on your wall, hang them in a frame, put them in a photo album, whatever you'd like to do with them. Stick them on your fridge. Um, so you can remember us always. That's what those are for. Mr. Andrew, this is like
Yes,
the last time, well, almost the last time that you get to do this. Will you do our workshop announcement, please, sir?
I will do it. And this is going to be sad to not have this available. I mean, it's going to be rough, but all of you have it. All of you have access. We have four now, count them, four complete nights that were recorded. You can get those downloads on the website right now. We started out this month with Kate McNeil doing social media for authors, and it was an amazing trip through social media. If you haven't watched it, you should go ahead and pay for it and download it. If you were there, thank you for being there. This was terrific. Then we visited with Christopher Gare, poking the comedic derriere, and that was a ton of fun, a lot of laughs, and we giggled, laughed, and had a great time that night. Uh, our own Julianne, she's here right now.
Uh-huh.
Julianne and Xander did a fantastic backward and forward using history in our novels, and it was really really good, very well put together. Julianne and Xander seemed to look like they've been presenting together forever. It was just
Absolutely.
really awesome. And then Andy Lockwood did a really, really great from storyboard to YouTube crafting book trailers for authors. It was real great. And Deborah Reed's kids did the best one so far since then. They came up with a fun little video. And if you haven't seen it, you should. And we should put on the clown masks now because there's the star. And then
It was pretty
tomorrow, for
creepy.
only yeah, it was good. And then tomorrow, the last one, and certainly I can't be least, but tomorrow for just $2, you can join us and join me. I'll be doing a workshop on building suspense into your writing, and we're going to walk through a whole story and how it can be suspenseful. And since I'm taking a story that already existed and putting in the hooks for it, at the end, everybody will get a free copy of my newest book that just released, A Slice of Fear. 15 short stories that are creepy or worse. And we'll take you down a trip of just fun. You'll all get access to Amazon to download a Kindle copy and walk away, and you can read the story and the ending that we won't go through all of it tomorrow. It's going to be fun. We're going to have a great time.
I am so excited about that workshop. I can't wait. I'm getting my notebook ready. I'm going to take notes. I'm going to watch it over and over again. Remember, everybody, you can get these downloads. They're a permanent part of the pagespromotions.com website. You can get them forever for $5 per workshop. Tell your friends, tell your writing groups, tell your buddies that they can download these workshops. It's $5. You get an hour worth of information each topic for just $5. It's and all that does is cover our technology costs. So these authors have donated their time, donated their materials, donated prizes and gifts, and I couldn't be more gratified. Truly, I'm so grateful for everybody for being a part of this festival, and especially to these amazing authors who have donated their expertise. So we thank you for that. Let's get the party started. Tonight, you're going to hear from 4 authors. I need to let you know that tonight, Deborah Reed is sitting in for Sherry Burton. She is preparing for some upcoming surgery, and she's taking some well-deserved rest time. And so tonight, Deborah is going to be reading for Sherry. But we're not telling you what book until after Deborah's done reading. So there you go.
And that it is actually Sherry's book. It's not.
Yes, it is Sherry's book. Yes.
It is Sherry's book that I'm reading from, which is awesome. Just the part that I've read so far. So.
Oh, when you read the whole thing, it's going to be amazing. It's a phenomenal book. So also joining Deborah tonight, Michael Beardsley is going to read, Jules Nelson is going to read, and Julianne Sisung is going to read. We're going to have a blast. So first, let me show you the magical screen. This is a guessing screen. Take a look at those 4 little snippets of the books. This is not necessarily the order in which the authors will be reading. You just won't know. Each author is going to read just a 5-minute cutting from the book. And then afterward, we're going to play a guessing game where if you win, you get bragging rights. So you go on social media, you tell everybody you guessed all 4 books correctly, and you get to, gloat just a little bit. So if everybody is ready, we have 5 minutes on the clock for each of you. If time runs out, I will certainly let you know that your time runs out. But the object here is to keep it at or under 5 minutes. Everybody ready? Thumbs up. Good to go? Okay. We are going to start with Jules Nelson. Are you ready, ma'am?
I am ready.
And your time begins now.
Struggling to keep the end of the blanket off the ground while draping the other end over the line, Emma stood on her toes and stretched, but her arms couldn't quite reach to keep it off the ground. She almost dropped it in the mud. Heart pounding, she had decided to just hang it over the porch rail when someone lifted the heavy blanket from her arms. Here, let me help you. Thane was so close to her ear that Emma jumped. Oh, pardon me. I didn't mean to startle you, ma'am, he said, stepping away from her side. No, I'm just not used to anyone helping me during the day. It's always so quiet here. Then she smiled. Here you are saving me and apologizing for it again. A smile touched his lips as he finished straightening the blanket on the line. I shouldn't make a habit of it, ma'am. It's Emma, she stated, raising her eyebrows. I know 'twas rude to keep my name from you before, but now you have it. I will not know you're speaking to me if you call me ma'am. It's terrible forward to call a young lady by her given name, especially when she isn't attached to me, Thane argued. Maybe I won't let you save me from any more embarrassing situations if you keep calling me ma'am, Emma teased, trying to keep her lips from smiling. I'd best be calling you Emma then, Thane stated with a hint of a smile. That's better. Emma smiled and handed him a pair of wrung-out pants to hang up. Besides, we are getting married, remember? And if my unfortunate suitors come back, you'll have more practice with my given name. You'll be Miss Wells to the likes of them, Thane replied simply. Of course, she laughed. Very practical, my dear. As Thane reached for a flannel shirt in the tub, it dawned on Emma that she was wringing out her nightdress. She blushed as she tucked it back into the tub. Reaching for anything that wasn't white, she saw that there was only one more colored garment. Trying to hide her embarrassment, she continued, I was figuring on eating my lunch down by the creek while the wash dries. Would you care for a bite? Thane was silent for a minute before he answered. Wouldn't want to impose. I just came to help when I heard you heard me singing? Emma interrupted. She was mortified. Like an angel, he smiled. Your voice echoes through these hills. Get out of here, she insisted, pretending to be offended to cover up her embarrassment. She pulled the shirt from his hands and shooed him towards the path. Go, so I can finish hanging my laundry in peace. Smiling, Thane reached for another wet clothing item. He froze when he saw that all the remaining clothes were all white. Pulling his hands back quickly, he turned to leave with a quiet, yes, ma'am. Emma fairly flew through the rest of the laundry, hanging her white clothes behind Seth's quilt so they couldn't be seen from the tree line near the path. Flipping the metal tub over the stump to dry, she ran into the house to make sandwiches for her family and a picnic for two. I wish I had something delicious baked up. Shaking her head to clear the regret, she reprimanded herself. No use worrying about what I can't change. Grabbing the basket of food, she headed for the back field where she could hear the men working. As Emma passed the water bucket left by the edge of the field, she noticed it was empty. She set down the basket of food, exchanged it for the bucket, and headed back towards the house. She wondered if Thane would still be waiting for her as she pulled the heavy bucket of water out of the well. Filling the bucket as full as she dared, she poured the rest back. Mark met her to retrieve her of her heavy burden. She had no sooner retrieved the basket before it was gently taken from her as well. James smiled at her before he turned to follow her brother across the field to Dad and Seth. Do you think we should just set fire to that stump? It's not budging with the team, Mark asked their father as they approached. He took a sandwich from the basket and sat in the shade. Dad nodded. It'll slow us down some, but it would be saving the horses in the end. Our backs too, Mark agreed. They continued to lay out their plans as they ate their sandwiches. Emma collected their towels into her basket and headed back towards the house. By the time she walked back from the field and made it to the hill by the creek, she had convinced herself that Thane had left by now. When she arrived, it was indeed vacant. Emma sat down in disappointment, but intent on looking carefree. Well, Mama, it looks as if I brought you a sandwich. You've already given my sandwich away? Asked the voice that made her jump. No, of course not, Emma replied, willing her heart to slow down. But I almost dropped it in the water. You scared me so, she scolded. Thane sat down a couple paces from Emma. She handed him a sandwich wrapped in a towel. Thane took a bite of his sandwich. Looking thoughtful, he asked, You going to introduce me to your mama? Emma looked up at him. She couldn't decide if he was making fun of her. Finding no hint of teasing in his face, she replied, Mr. Hawkins, meet my mama, Liliana Wells. Lily to those that loved her. Mama, this is Mr. Hawkins. He's taken to saving me lately. He even promised to marry me to protect me from an ugly mess. She ended with a smile. Pleasure to meet you, ma'am. Please call me Thane.
Well done. 3 seconds left on the clock.
Wow.
Good job. Well done. Thank you very, very much. All right. Michael Beardsley, are you ready to read, sir?
We're going to find out real quick.
Okay, your time begins now. Go.
August 1969. After a lengthy summer of attempting to determine where I was going to spend my upcoming senior year of high school, which included an ongoing conflict with my mother, I, Mike Beardsley, will be attending a different school system for the first time since I was in 4th grade when entering the sacred halls of State Road Elementary School. This change in my life came about when at the end of my junior year of high school, the rumors that the school millage for the upcoming school year was not going to pass turned into true rumors. The good citizens of Fenton, Michigan soundly defeated the passing of the school millage. That meant that school curriculum activities such as athletics, marching band, cheerleading, choir, etc., will not be making an appearance on any future resumes for the graduating Fenton High School senior class of 1970. This also meant that there was a good possibility that a brand new constructed Fenton High School was going to sit empty to who knows when. Since marching band, trumpet playing, and athletics, specifically basketball and track, are such a big part of my life, and truth be known, probably the only reason I attend school and am not currently working on the assembly line for General Motors at the old Flint Buick plant, my senior year of high school has the potential to be very nondescript and unmemorable. My folks had talked the situation over with me, and if push came to shove, and the austerity budget went to effect, slashing away all extracurricular school activities, then I had their blessing to attend another high school for my senior year. There were, however, two stipulations that my mother placed on me before this new high school thing could take place. First, I had to participate in band, basketball, and track. No problem. Secondly, and this might be the deal breaker, I had to find another person to attend this new high school with me. That might be a problem. I'd spent the majority of this past summer away from my comfort, so my residence located in Fenton, Michigan. This included a couple weeks at the Interlochen National Music Camp in the All-State Division, where I hope my mother never discovers I spent more time playing basketball and volleyball there than I did practicing my trumpet. That was followed by a stint as a volunteer worker of the Student Conservation Association. The SCA provided high school students the opportunity to work at various national parks of the United States. I was based out of the Olympic National Park located in Port Angeles, Washington. Just a beautiful area that I hope to revisit someday and eventually make it my permanent home. Including travel time, that was another 4 weeks away from home. Before departing for my stay in the Olympic Mountains, where I was eventually to spend the bulk of my time making wood shakes for the roof of a cabin that the SCA was building for a National Forest Park ranger, my mother advised me to give some serious consideration where I might want to spend my senior year of high school. Her thoughts were that the millage had resoundingly been defeated twice so far, and with a final vote coming up in the next 2 weeks, there is no way, in her opinion, that the citizens of Fenton would change their minds or votes in this election. I mean, come on, let's face it. My future is in the hands of the taxpayers of the city of Fenton, many of whom I've never met face to face, and they, in turn, have never heard of yours truly. 2 weeks came and went. The school millage did not pass, and Judgment Day for my future place of education had arrived. I cast my vote for Swartz Creek High School. To me, it made all the sense in the world. I spent my first 4 years of the public school career there and thought that'd be a nice touch to graduate as a Swartz Creek Dragon. I still knew some of the Swartz Creek kids from competing against them in athletics. It would border on old home week for me. There was no doubt in my little mind that my mother would accept my excellent selection. While I was mentally envisioning the huge reception I was going to receive on my first day of school as a student of the Swartz Creek public school system, I discovered how wrong I was in my thinking. I was even more incorrect than the character that Eli Wiley portrayed in the movie The Magnificent Seven. I know you won't use those guns against me. Only a crazy man makes that same mistake twice. My mother's decision for my senior year of high school was Holy Redeemer High School. I about died when I heard those words come out of her mouth. Holy Redeemer, a parochial school, give me a break. At Holy Redeemer, the guys have to wear ties to class every day. I even heard that the Latin classes are very intense and that my limited terminology of Gallia est omnis tres Louisa isn't going to cut it there. And I'm not even mentioning the worst part of it yet, that all students have to attend Mass every Friday. Every Friday. This includes coming from a kid who hates it when Christmas Day falls on Saturday or Monday. When that takes place, it means I now have to go to church 2 days in a row. Oh man, this ain't good. My mother was born in Europe and to this day is an extremely devout Catholic. However, her religious fervor to the Catholic Church was never inherited by her 2 children. I must have underestimated how disappointing it was to my mother that neither I nor my younger sister, Katie, never really showed any interest in attending a Catholic school. I mean,
And
simple.
I'm sorry, your time is up, Michael.
Okay, thank
Thank you very much. Well done. Well done. Now I'm super intrigued to read your book because it was not what I was expecting. So awesome. Okay.
Should I ask what you were expecting?
Not right now. Maybe we'll do that later.
Okay.
Okay. So Deborah, are you ready to read?
Yes, I am.
Okay, now again, I need to let everybody know tonight Deborah is reading for Sherry Burton. This is Sherry's work, and we'll tell you all about the book after she's done. But Deborah, thanks again for pitch hitting, and anytime you're ready, go.
It was 2 a.m. Cindy was freshly showered and had a cup of hot coffee sitting in her trembling hands. She'd resisted opening the notebook after a drop of sweat had fallen onto the cover. Instead, she'd replaced the tissue paper and carried the entire box down the attic stairs and into the living room. She set her coffee aside, unwrapped the notebook, and was greeted with another handwritten note. Whoever is reading this is about to uncover secrets I've taken with me to the grave. At least, I hope that is the case, as I've worked hard at keeping the shame that is my life under wraps. While I have tried to live a good life, I am afraid that sins from my past have kept me from living a full life. I am not quite sure what sins I committed, but they must have been so great that my dear mother abandoned me when I was but a wee child. The year was 1921. It was January, and I had nearly reached my 8th year when my mother took me to the orphanage. I still remember her face clearly and can still see the dark curls that fell loose around her shoulders. I think she was tall, but maybe that was just a child's perspective. She was thin, that I do recall. Then again, so was everyone who lived in our tenement. Maybe it was because we were always hungry. It was raining the last time I saw my mother. I was cold and wet, and my mother told me to go inside where I would be warm. I asked her if she was coming inside, and she said no, she didn't want to spoil the floors with her wet shoes. I didn't have to worry about that. I wasn't wearing any shoes. Mother was dripping wet. The rain had stripped her of her curls, and her deep black hair lay plastered against the side of her head like a hat. I asked her why she was crying. She told me it was just the rain on her face, but I could hear her sobs and knew she was lying. Before I could respond, Mother opened the door, pushed me inside, and the door closed behind me. The doors nearly reached the ceiling. A deep, rich brown, they were the largest doors I had ever seen. An elephant could have walked through without issue. I've never forgotten the sound it made when it slammed shut, a solid thud that vibrated like rolling thunder. The sound has woke me from my dreams more often than I can count. Maybe that is because my mother never bothered to kiss me goodbye. I was still staring at the door when an older girl wearing a blue gingham dress and a crisp white apron came and asked me what I was doing. I told her my mother brought me. She shrugged and told me I must have done something very bad for my mother to have left me. I couldn't recall doing anything bad, but the girl must have been right, as I never saw my mother again. The girl took my hand and led me down the long hall, which was empty except for a few paintings on the wall and large red crocks evenly spaced along the floor near the wall. I didn't want to leave the entrance. The building was so big, and I was afraid my mama would not be able to find me. The girl was bigger than me and looked mean, so I went with her. She took me to a room with tall windows and dark walls, where a lady wearing a black dress was sitting behind a large wooden desk. The girl told the lady she'd found me in the hall. The woman picked up a clipboard and asked me if I spoke English. I remember smiling and shaking my head yes. Not everyone in our tenement spoke English. My mama did, but not very well. Mama and Papa and I came over the ocean on a big ship from Poland. While I remember my Papa, I do not remember what his face looked like. He died before the ship reached America. They said he was sick. 2 men carried him outside in the rain and threw him over the side. Oh, how I loathed the rain. Mama said my ojciech, that's the Polish word for Papa, taught me how to speak English so people would like me better. I wish I could remember my Papa better. The woman asked my name. I told her my name was Malta. She asked me what my last name was. I told her that was the only name I had. The lady didn't seem happy about that. She asked what my mother's name was. I was going to tell her it was Mamusia, which is the Polish word for mama. But then I remembered what my Papa told me, and I said her name was Mama. The lady smiled and wrote something on the clipboard. It was the first time the lady smiled. Papa must have been right. My clothes were wet. I was barefoot and so cold I was shaking. The woman must not have liked that I was dripping water on the floor because she told the girl, who she called Clara, to take me to the washroom for a bath and delouse. I wasn't sure what that meant, but from the look on the girl's face, I was sure I wasn't going to like it. As Cindy read, the story came to life, as if she was watching it on.
Well done. 17 seconds left on the clock. Good job, Deborah. Thank you very much for reading. Okay, Julianne, you get to be next.
Deborah's going to read mine.
If only she knew that.
Yeah, Deborah.
Awesome. Okay, Julianne, whenever you're ready, go.
Okay, chapter 19. Edith inclined her head to follow the couple moving by on the narrow sidewalk, her mouth stretched wide. He will continue striking you 1,007 times for your sin. Read Leviticus. I mean you, she said, pointing and glaring at the pair, heads turned, avoiding her eyes. Don't think the Lord will not strike you down because you went to church. You still allow the whore to walk among you. You let her pretend to be a healer. Standing on the wooden crate, she was taller than those who had stopped to listen to her ranting. But she stretched her neck and ramrod back and grew another foot in her own eyes. Her finger pointed. She had planted herself in front of the hotel hospital because that's where most of the people gathered. They were either sick or visiting sick family, or they were heading into Esther's next door. But the store shelves were empty since suppliers wouldn't deliver to town, nor would they allow anyone from Cheney into their villages to get vital provisions. Herr Cheney folks went without. Bert stopped his mare in front of the store in time to hear Edith calling Jessie a whore, and his nostrils flared. He cracked his knuckles, slid from the horse, and pulled at his tightening collar while making a beeline toward the stick woman. He'd had all of her he was going to take. Her words faltered when she spotted him striding purposefully her way, but it was a momentary stillness, and she continued with increased fervor for the small respite. She built up steam, and vilifications flew from her lips along with spittle and hot breath. Bert plucked her from the crate, sat himself on it, flipped her over his legs, and laid the flat of his hand on her backside, over and over. Miss Moon screeched and wailed, flailed her bird legs until most of the long limbs could be seen unclothed by any passerby. Curses flew from her mouth, some of which he'd never heard before, but he could make logically deduced connections to male anatomy and acts he hadn't committed in a long time. Some, if ever, he thought. When she quit flailing and her screeches had turned to sobs, he stayed his hand, but kept it at the ready position in the air. His palm was red and stinging, and he wondered if Miss Moon's bottom was the same, but quickly blocked that vision from his consciousness. She sniffed. It's all true, you know. The hand came down twice more. But once more, the hand did its work. He listened and heard only quiet weeping, so he dropped his hand from the air. It headed to her buttocks to rest in the only obvious place, but he thought better in a flash and let it hang by his side. Miss Moon, are you quite done? Are you Mr. Goldsmith? Would you like a peppermint stick? He asked. I would. He tried to pass it to her, but due to the awkward position with her still lying face down on his lap, it was difficult. Perhaps you might stand now, he said. When she was upright and had the candy in her mouth, they noticed a sizable audience had gathered around them. Mothers stood next to children whose eyes were opened wide in fear, and fathers with smirking lips that gave their thoughts away. He decided on a little fun. This is the correction crate. It will not be moved from this spot, ever. Anytime a person's behavior needs to be altered, I will oblige. He raised his hand, and two small boys sniffled and hid behind their mother's skirt. There will be no more backbiting, no more blathering. We will be kind to one another, hear me? The gossips whispered, neighbor leaning toward neighbor and friend toward friend, but never taking their eyes from Bert and Miss Moon. Suspenders snapped in agreement, and fingers tipped hats over sparkling eyes. Bert would have erected a flag if he'd had one because it felt like victory, but it wasn't. Edith Moon went back to being hateful before she could sit without wincing, but she didn't do it in front of him again. Maybe she was nettled because he commented on her fancy white bloomers before he moved into the peaceful presence of Esther Pritchard's general store, leaving her to enjoy her peppermint stick and smolder.
Well done. 20 seconds left on the clock. Good job. Woohoo! Wow. Oh, really great, wonderful, strong readings. Thank you so much, everybody. Okay, I am going to show you once again the screen of guessing. See, there it is, the guessing screen. And now I'm going to put up the guessing poll. Who wrote what? This is where you get to decide, guess, who wrote which book. No, Andrew, not yet. Everybody, go ahead and fill out the poll. Everybody fill it out. Click on who you think wrote which book, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I guess you guys have been wondering why I've been asking these polls. Not only is it just good fun and you get bragging rights, but the authors have been so wonderfully generous this month in donating more books than I know how to give away. At the wrap party on the 28th, we're going to give out a prize to the one person, one individual who answered more of these polls correctly than anybody else. So with the wonder of Zoom, I can get all this amazing data, and I'm going to give it to my bookkeeper, and she's going to do the math, and then we're going to come to a decision about who was the one person who got more of them correct. So yeah, it's not just bragging rights. If you get them mostly right, you get to win something too, just because, we have to. Okay, so everybody, I think at this point, has put their guesses in, and let's end the poll. We'll share the results of the poll. There we go. Wow, look at that. Okay, let's see who actually got them right. There's the answer key. Tonight, Julianne Sysing presented Damselfly. I do not have a copy of this book yet. It is so new released, that I don't even have a copy of it yet. So I'm really, really super happy that Julianne was willing to share this new release with us tonight. Sherry Burton's book, Discovery, is the first in the Orphan Train saga, and if you haven't read it yet, you definitely should. Once you do, you're going to get hooked on the whole series. It's amazing.
It's awesome.
It is. Jules Nelson presented Shadows tonight. This is book 1 in a series. Jules, how many books are in this series?
There's 2 that are published. I'm working on the 3rd one right now.
Awesome. And Michael Beardsley presented Bad Hombre. This is volume 1. How many books are in this series, Michael?
There will be a total of 10. And
Okay.
4 published, and hopefully number 5's on the way.
Awesome. Fantastic, everybody. Oh my gosh, everybody's so prolific. I can't even stand it. I don't know how you guys write series. I haven't figured out that masterful trick yet. Hi, Padme. So everybody, thank you so much for all of your incredible reading and writing, and wow, so very, very cool. While you guys are coming up with questions that you might want to ask these authors, or while Kate and Andrew are coming up with questions, I'm going to remind you that tonight at midnight is our, let me get the screen up. Dun, 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 dun. There we go. Tonight is midnight is the deadline for our flash fiction contest. I'm super excited. This time we got 14 entries so far. Just before I came into the room tonight, I counted. There were 14, and they're all really great stories. Check them out if you haven't read them yet. If you haven't written one yet, add to it. There's no excuse. It's 350 words, not even a full page. It's due by midnight tonight, and you need to start your story with the entrance to the tunnel was the only way out. Continue the story from there. One winner will receive a trio of books written by Scott Rutherford, Carol Trembeth, and Andy Lockwood. Type or copy and paste your story into the original thread in the announcements. The top 5 stories will be selected by our judging panel, and then those 5 will be put on the Facebook page for the entire 656 member audience to, I think we're at 556 now, for everybody to vote on. And then the top winner out of those 5 will take home the prize. So do that. It's fun. And then throughout the next couple of months, gearing up toward the June festival, I'm going to keep posting those and giving away some prizes so that we can keep our wheels of creativity turning and just have a little fun. Okay. Any questions for Jules, Michael, Deborah, and Julianne? Any questions out there?
Yes.
Oh, Julianne, was your cover painted by Shauna Avery?
Shanna is an unbelievable artist. She is so prolific. She pumps out paintings, real paintings, every other day, a new one. And yes, she did the cover to Damselfly and will be doing the rest in the series for me. She's so talented. If you want an unusual cover, Shanna's your girl.
Awesome. Very cool. And if anybody wants to get in touch with Shannon, just get in touch with Julianne. She'll connect you.
Yeah. I'm surprised that, did you recognize that, Joan? Yes. Okay.
Yes, she recognized the picture. Yes.
Cool.
Yep, that's what Joan said. Awesome. That's so cool when we write books and have cover art that people recognize the illustrator. That's awesome. That means that what we're doing as authors is promoting their artistry career, and I love how there's synergism there. It's just really, really cool.
Fun.
Any other questions?
Well, of course, there's always questions. Go ahead, Deborah.
Deborah,
you
go.
first.
I just, because you might have said this in October as you were talking, Julianne, and I just don't remember, but is Damselfly part of a series, or is it the first in a series? First in a series.
It's the first in the series, right? It is very historical, accurate history, and this starts in 1872 when that little town was first built, and then it moves to 1893 when diphtheria hit.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. Cool. Any other questions out in the chat?
There's a question for Michael.
Yeah.
It says, is your book first-person fiction or is it a memoir?
It's probably a combination of both, but probably more of a memoir than
Awesome.
anything else. So it's based on my life.
That was the thing I was going to tell you. It wasn't what I expected, because when I read the synopsis that you sent for festival, I was expecting a story set in that time period, and I lived that time period, so it's not really that interesting to me. But now, knowing that it's partial memoir, now I'm intrigued, because I would like to know more about you. So now I'm interested.
Okay. Okay, good. Thank you.
I always like that, Diane. I lived through that, so I'm really not interested in it.
Yeah. You know, so I have so many people come to me and say, "Oh, to be a teenager again," and I say, "No, not to be a teenager again." No.
Been there, done that. Wore that
Not
T-shirt,
doing it.
burned it through the ashes in the ocean. Never going to see it again.
That's right. Absolutely. Randy
Yeah.
Pearson has a question for the entire room. How challenging is it to write historical fiction? Specifically, how much research did you have to do to make sure you kept things accurate? Let's start with Jules.
Of course. I basically had to research everything, and because my books are set around the Civil War, so everything changed. I shouldn't say everything changed, but things were changing, they were progressing. So I had to make sure, like, even if I picked a hymn that they were singing at church that day, I had to make sure that not only was it something that would have been written or popular, but that it would also have been in Michigan and like an off the wall kind of area. So some of that information is readily available, like what kind of canning, stuff would they use? But then some of it's like, would they have had that in Michigan? And some of it's harder to find. So I would always have to err on the side of caution for some of it. But this next book that I'm writing, it's about Civil War. They're about the Civil War. So it's about the husband, but also about the wife, what she's doing behind. So literally you have to research all of that information just to make sure that what you're talking about is completely accurate. So
Yeah,
it's a lot.
absolutely. Julianne, I'm guessing based on the presentation you did with Xander that you heavily research your
I
pieces.
do. I do a long time before I even decide what the setting is going to be and what the events are. I start researching to find the place where I want it and the time period that I want it. Like with Pear Cheney, I had been researching for several months before I landed on that little town, and I went, wow, they wrote my book for me. They just wrote it because of all the events that occurred there. And yes, it's a ton of research in front, but then it's, I don't know about you, Jules, but it's daily. I'm looking something up because you run across things like I said during the presentation, the workshop. How fast does a horse go?
Yeah.
When it's pulling a wagon.
Yep.
You know, how big is the wagon? What can fit inside the wagon?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, the
Lots and lots of details. That's why science fiction's always more fun because you get to speculate and you don't have to rely on what's already established. You can pretend and move forward. Michael, I know that yours is based, as you said tonight, on part of your life. Did you do any research out of your own experience to put into this book?
Well, similar to what Jules had, I have a smaller time frame. It's from starting with August 69 through June 1970 is my time frame. So tonight I alluded to the movie The Magnificent Seven. And as small as point as it is, I have to make sure that I don't mention movies that were not made yet, like The Godfather or something like that. So it has to be a time specific.
Right.
And make sure that the research falls in that time frame.
And like with technology, you have to, did we have cell phones then? Did we have rotary dial? Did we have touch tone? Did just those little things I would guess would require a lot of research.
Record players, things like that.
Yep. I have a question.
It's more time specific.
Superb.
Awesome. Deborah, I'm just curious, are you writing a historical piece at all right now? I know you read for Sherry tonight, but are you writing anything that requires historical research?
Well, editing my young adult novel.
I guess that, yeah.
I feel like I'm writing historical fiction because there are so many times, especially like my editor is actually a young adult, and she's like, yeah, we don't say that, or no, that, and then I just feel so old. But it's like, but it is kind of similar in the sense that I do have to be careful where it's like I don't use idioms or I don't use phrases or something that kids today wouldn't actually say, but to me it just flows out of me because I've been saying it for years and years and years, but they don't say it now. And
right,
either they're too nice to look at me funny when I do say it, or they're just laughing once I turn away.
Yeah, my son just laughs at my face. It's okay.
But I have such high respect for anyone who writes historical fiction because, I mean, yeah, just even from the research that I have to do with the topics in my book set in present day, oh my gosh, I mean, you guys are phenomenal who can do all of that and write an entire book and an entire life based, in a time that we don't know personally. I mean,
right.
That's
yeah, it's pretty astonishing. Andrew, I know you had a question on the tip of your tongue, sir.
Yes, I have a question on the tip of my tongue. This is for Julianne and Jules. When you're looking at history as a whole, there are lots of different sources and some of it conflict. How do you meld that? How do you come up with the best sources so that you know it's right?
Julianne?
It's the spinny wheel.
Oh, okay. Well, that works.
use whatever pops up the most, actually. And it's when you're dealing with small towns, which I do. I mean, I have to incorporate global things because they occur, but
And they have influence, yeah.
and they have a dramatic influence even in the small towns. But books aren't available on that detail small towns. Nobody writes about small towns except me. So, I have a corner on the market.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
I like it.
Jules, what about you?
Well, the cool thing about the area that I moved to here, they have a lot of historical stuff that they've kept around from, because they settled this area of Michigan in 1835. So they actually have a lot of like journals and things like that. So you can, like, I went and looked at a lot of them before I started writing, just to like come up with the idea and the atmosphere of the town itself. But then there's a lot of memoirs that are online that you can actually read through too. So you can get some of that sense. But the problem is, if you're looking for something very specific, you kind of go for facts, but then you kind of go with like how far away from mainstream it would be. And yeah, it's basically whatever comes up the most often. And that's what you end up using because you feel like it's somebody's best guess at least. So
Yeah.
Super.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Any other questions out there? Deborah, you're right. There's no such thing as too many books. I just want to put that out there. There's no such thing as too many books. And if anybody's curious of what never too many books looks like, scroll through our Facebook page and look at Joan Young's library. It's a whole separate building. I'm stunned and envious all at the same time. So never too many books. Any other questions for our readers, authors tonight?
I just have a statement. If you haven't looked at the Orphan Train series that Deborah read from, and I know some of you have, take a look at it. Not only is it incredibly interesting, I mean, it's got a good flow, and as you read it, you'll get into it really quickly.
I was really surprised by this book because this is a slice of our American history I didn't have knowledge of. I didn't know that there were orphan trains that relocated children from New York to outlying areas. I had no idea this was a thing. And once I got into this book, I became completely immersed in the world. It's a really quick read. And I would recommend it. Again, Deborah, thank you for standing in for Sherry tonight. I know she appreciates it as well.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Absolutely.
Any other books? Oh, Kate, look at how smart you are. Kate just threw up the link for the pop-up bookshop. Just to remind everybody, we can connect with all of our authors and books at the pop-up bookshop. Anybody else before we go on to the wonderful and amazing Wheel of Happiness? Anything? No?
It's time to give away books.
It's time to give away books.
Joan really wants to win, so everybody should chant with me. Joan, win, Joan.
Here's the thing. I'm gonna give away more books because I like the post office just that much. But actually, the nice lady behind the counter was very lovely today. She understood that I had to stand in line 3 times. So it's good. Okay. All right, let's go to the spinning wheel of happiness. Dun, 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 dun. Spinning wheel, please tell me you see the spinning wheel.
yes.
It's got to go round.
Yes. Good. All right. Awesome. Book number 1. 1, 2, 3. We're giving away 4 books tonight. 1 from each of our authors. Let's do this thing. Here we go. Book number 1. The clown music's so much fun.
Yeehaw!
Hey, Diana Duell extraordinaire, you get a copy of Sherry Burton's Discovery. This is the first in the Orphan Train saga. I think there are 4 books out now, plus an extra novella in this series that are available right now. Sherry's amazing. She's putting out one of these like every 7 months. It's incredible what she's doing. So check it out. Congratulations, Diana. Yay! Okay. I got to tell you, it's weird calling my own name on the screen. It's just odd. It's a weird thing, you guys. Okay.
So I grew up as a Julie or a Julianne. That's
That's true. That's true. Okay, spinning wheel number 2. Ready? Here we go.
And away we go.
Yay! Words. As I said earlier, Julianne's new book, Damsel Fry, is not out yet. However, Michael, you're going to get a copy of Sophie's Lies sent to you. I know you're going to love this. And Michael is currently working on a historical novel himself. So I know he's going to be reading your work for tips and tricks. So, all righty, here we go. Spinny wheel number 3.
Number 3.
Go. Hey, Amy Kelso, I get to say you out loud again. Yay! Makes me so happy. Okay, you get book 1 of Jules Nelson's series. It's called Shadows. See, there it is. Isn't that awesome? So awesome. And with it, just because she's super creative and fun, you're going to get this really cool door hanger. It says, "Keep calm. I'm busy supporting my favorite Michigan authors." See, isn't that awesome? Isn't that awesome? And on the back, it says, "You may interrupt my reading time if," and then it has a list of things. And just because I think it's fun, I'm going to read it to you just because it's ridiculous. It says, "You may interrupt my reading time if a spaceship has landed in the backyard. An epic love story is brewing. You suddenly went blind and need food. The postman turned into a werewolf. Money appeared on the doorstep. Your children or animals are missing. You've discovered blood, and it's not yours. A magic portal opened. A house elf has arrived to clean. Shadows are following you inside. And zombies are invading the pantry." Those are the only reasons you get to disturb somebody who's reading.
I think
Okay.
that's reasonable.
I just thought that list was so perfect.
I just love that.
I want to hang it on my refrigerator for my whole family
And-
to see.
I can tell you, if you read her first book, you're going to want the second. So you might as well just go ahead and order it.
just get them both. Okay. There it
There it
is.
is.
See? Yeah. Okay, here we go. By the way, you can connect to our author's entire catalog on the bookshop, not just the current book they read from, but the entire catalog that I was able to get my grubby mitts on. So there you go. Final wheel of happiness spin. Andrew's energy came forth. Young, you win. This is Michael Beardsley's Bad Hombre. You get this. This is going to be super. There we go. Super fun. Everybody gets, well, not everybody. 4 people get books tonight. So much fun. I can't even believe how much fun we're having. Okay. So now I'm guessing you're probably wondering, how is it do you collect your books? Well, if you haven't won a book before, even if you have won a book before, you should probably pay attention to these instructions. Huzzah! You've won a book. Thank you for your attention, Andrew. Before midnight tonight, send me an email with your mailing address in it to Diana@pagespromotions.com to claim your prize. Prizes not claimed by email will be added back into the rotation for a future giveaway. And that has happened. So be aware, if I don't get your address by midnight tonight, I'll put your book back in the stack. So do that. And if you have won before and you think I already have your address, don't. Send it to me anyway, because I use my email list as a to-do list. And if it's not on my to-do list, It doesn't get done. Okay. Um, we have bonus prizes tucked inside 3 random books. I don't know which books they are. One day Kate came over and there were 100 books stacked up against my wall, and I just went, we'll stab them in there. So that's what I did. I don't even know what books they're in. If you win the golden ticket, so, flip through your pages of your book. If a ticket falls out, ta-da, you've won. The golden ticket, you will win a Kindle Fire 7 tablet. There we go. This is the ad-free version. If you win the silver ticket, you will receive the Blood in the Rain prize box donated by Jacob Bullen. And this is the first 2 books in his Blood in the Rain series, plus a really super snazzy hooded sweatshirt that's got amazing art on it. It's incredible. If you win the bronze ticket, you get from our own Andrew Smith 5 books in the Masterson Files series, plus let me turn on my thing. There we go. Plus the canvas tote bag so that you can carry those 5 books in it, and the handy dandy snazzy tumbler. This is amazing. This is aluminum. It's like 67 ounces of stuff, and it's got a sippy lid so that you don't spill your hot cocoa in your lap, like I am often known to do. It's cool. It's blue. It's aluminum. It's awesome. You're gonna love it. Okay, so that's the bonus prize tickets. There are 3 of them out there, 1 of each. I don't know what books they're in. Good luck.
That's not all.
But that's not all. But wait, there's more.
There's more.
There's more. Why is there more? Because Kate decided there had to be more. So, since it's Kate's fault, Kate, tell us about the more.
Kate's fault. Oh gosh, this is what happens when I open my mouth. So
See?
I will, I'll tell it in reverse today. So today I had the great honor and privilege of listening to a cat be strangled, which is how it was described to those lucky ones of us that got this message from Andrew of him singing something that you'll find out about later. So anyway, telling this backwards, he actually sounded pretty good. And he's actually also offered to help out anybody who wants to go for the extra super bonus prize. That being, if you open up your book, you have got one of those tickets, grab a friend, grab a small child, grab a tripod, whatever, record yourself singing at least just around 30 seconds of I've Got a Golden Ticket, the song from the original Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory film. If you are a little bit camera shy or nervous, Andrew, who has the voice of an angel.
Oh my gosh, angel.
I had to listen to it repeatedly. I made my husband listen to it, and it was just, everybody was just amazed.
We were all just mesmerized.
It was amazing. It was. So just know that he has offered to gift you with his golden voice should you need a little bit of encouragement from someone who truly, truly sings like an angel. And what will you win?
Well, if you're brave enough to do this, or if you want to partner up with Andrew and he'll, bolster your bravery.
Mm-hmm.
If you do this and you post the video on our Facebook page, there's a caveat there, post a video on our Facebook page. I need to back up for half a second. If you get one of the prize tickets, make sure you take a picture of yourself holding the ticket. That's your proof that you won. Anyway, so here we go. Post this video on the Facebook page. If you do that, oh my gosh, it's crazy. You're going to get the super extra bonus prize, which is my entire catalog of books. That's 9 books in 9 different genres. You're going to get a selection of one of Kate's books, your choice, from her collection. And you're going to get a selection from Jordan Scavone's catalog. He writes children and young adult. So you'll get to choose one of his books as well. That's, oh my gosh, it's 11 books. I had to do this story problem because I don't do math. It's 11 books in 10 genres awarded to 3 brave musical winners. It's insanity, people. We're giving away stuff. I can't even believe how much stuff we're giving away. I've still got stuff to give away. It's crazy. So make sure that you check your books for the tickets, brush up on your singing. If you want to do it with your family and the whole family sing together, awesome. Now, here's an extra bonus thing, just because I was so inspired. If you don't win a bonus ticket and you want to sing this song anyway, because I know we have some fellow theater rats in the audience, just like me. I'm a theater rat from way back. So if you want to do this anyway, just for the fun of it, post your video up on our Facebook page and you will get one book from my catalog of your choice. So there you go. Family, friends, everybody's in on this. If you're brave enough to do it, I'm going to give you a book.
And
hey, Emma.
Living under a rock, Michael Schwartz posted a link to the video, the song in the video in the comments. If you're not familiar with this song, I'm not sure how that would be.
I don't either.
But Michael did post that in the comments. If you'd like to click on that and go listen to this thing that you will be practicing and recording.
Absolutely. Yep. So, Andrew just posted, oh my gosh, that's a very, very long link, Andrew.
It's a very, very long link that'll take you to the lyrics.
Cool. So you have lyrics. You don't even have to memorize them. You can just read them.
And we're just basically giving this, all you have to do is just like sing it.
Can we make it any easier? I just don't know.
You can even pick a different voice. You can be creative. You can do a Southern voice. I never thought my life could be. You just pick voices all day. So it'll all be fun.
No extra prizes for costumes, Michael. I'm sorry. I do have a limit on prizes in my life. I mean, there is, a breaking point. But if you're brave enough to sing and dance on our Facebook page, you'll get a book. There you go.
And we'll appreciate your extra effort by giving you a round of applause.
Absolutely, yes.
And Jennifer says,
wait a
honestly,
minute.
I've never seen either movie or read the book. I know the story a little bit. You haven't read the book?
You haven't read the book? Oh my gosh. Okay, look, Jennifer, it'll take you like an hour and a half to read the book. Just go read the book.
It's quick.
Catch up with the rest of us, and then just go look at the YouTube video, and that'll make you want to watch the whole film. Don't watch the Johnny Depp version because it's not worth your time.
No.
Go watch the original Gene Wilder version. That's much better. Jules, your son watched the movies every day. I'm sorry.
All movies? Oh, wow.
He discovered the new one, and then he was comparing the two so that my son has autism, so when he watches something, he memorizes it. So not only does he watch it, then you also get to hear the quotes from the movie and the songs, like when you're not watching it. So.
What fun! What fun! My son does that. He breaks out into quotes just randomly throughout his day. It's kind of entertaining.
I had short stories once upon a time.
Once upon a time?
Nothing. I'm just being goofy. Yes.
It's been a long month, you guys.
We're getting slap happy.
Do we get Emma tomorrow?
Hey, come here. Emma, are you gonna go on tomorrow, Mr.
Do we get you tomorrow for suspense?
You gonna come join us tomorrow, Emma?
For the workshop?
My story's about a little girl.
Now don't give my daughter nightmares.
Yeah.
A very nice little girl.
She is.
No.
Well, she was a very nice little girl. We had some work on her to make her different.
Oh my gosh. I've read the clean, happy version of this story. I have not read the Andrewified version of this story, so I'm a little frightened right now.
I am too.
All right. I think we need to take this night to a close. Before we do, I want to remind you all, we're doing this again in June because I'm a glutton for punishment. That's me. Actually, the truth is, I'm having so much fun. I want to do this once a month, but I just don't have the energy because I'm old now. Okay, so we're doing it again in June. Here are the authors who have signed up so far. We're If you haven't signed up yet and you had fun this month, please sign up, join us again. This is a great outreach opportunity for authors. It's a great opportunity for us to learn about each other's books, to share books with other readers, and just to enjoy ourselves with ridiculous abandon throughout an entire month of finding wonderment with the written word. If you would like to join us, it's real easy. Go to pagespromotions.com. Click on the little link there, and it's $25 for the early bird, and it's $50 for the last minute for those of you who are procrastinators. Andrew, because I know you're speedy, can you put the link in the chat, pretty please? Because I know you're speedy.
Maybe Kate will beat me.
No.
It's on the current festival page, way down. Scroll down to the bottom. It's on the right hand side. It's the little icon that says June 2021. Click on that. It'll take you to all of the information for the June festival. The registration deadline is May 15th, 2021. We're calling it the Summer Reading Regatta. A harbor full of books waiting to be discovered. If you haven't figured it out yet, our summer theme is sail racing. We're going to have a lot of fun with this. I grew up a sailor and I really love it. And I just think it's a perfect summer activity. So we're going to squish it together with books and see what comes out the other end. Before we go, Deborah, yeah, probably I'll fix that. Before we go, parting shots across the bow as we get ready for June. Jules, any parting words for us before we go?
I don't know. I mean, I think that history is the best part about history is when you tell the story of the common person, and the stories that you can tell, it's the best way to learn it. So if you could pick up a story from any part of history that you're interested in, I think that's the best way to learn history. So
it is, absolutely. Thank you. Julianne, any shots across the bow before we go?
Ditto.
I like that.
Ditto.
Easy to remember. I like that. Michael, any parting shots across the bow, sir?
It's interesting when you start to do research, how it triggers other things that you should include in your book. So the research is never ending.
Right. Absolutely. I agree. Deborah, ma'am, thank you so much for sitting in. I appreciate it. You did a great job reading. I know this was new material for you. Thank you very, very much for doing this. Any shots across the bow?
I just want to say thank you to Sherry for trusting me enough to allow me to read it for her, and it was an honor to do so. And yeah, definitely, I'm just in awe of all of you guys who write historical fiction. You guys are just fantastic, and I'm excited to read your books. I know I have Jules already, but I need to get a few others in here. And thank you to everyone who came out to support these authors as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you very much. Kate McNeil, my sanity saver. Thank you for being here. Any shots across the bow, miss?
If you are thinking about signing up to be an author for the June festival, I would strongly suggest, if you have not done so yet, do so soon, because there are only so many days in the month and so much time in each evening, and you don't want to wait until the last second and find out that there's no spots left in the harbor. So sign up, or if you know somebody that should sign up, get them to sign up.
Absolutely. Yeah, can't stress that enough. I'm stunned and amazed at how fast we're filling up already. We can only do 4 authors a night, and there's only 30 nights, so I don't do math, but you might. So check it out and join us if you can.
Well,
Andrew, my insanity instigator, I appreciate you being here as always. Thank you for the amazing, wonderful giggle this afternoon. I was standing in line at the post office giggling, and people were looking at me like I had 3 heads.
it was good.
It was good.
And shots across the bow, sir.
Absolutely. First, thank you for the amazing authors. I always appreciate you. And Deborah, you did yourself proud, and I really appreciate every time. I just sign up. Sign up for tomorrow. You're going to get lots of fun, lots of free, and we're going to have some fun. And I'm really sad because MT didn't come tonight, because
Yeah.
after looking around constantly, I found and she didn't make it.
Bring him tomorrow. Bring him tomorrow.
I'm so sad, but no, I think everybody should just go ahead. So if you're an author, sign up for June. If you're not an author, if you're a reader, get ready for June. We've got several days left here in this month, and make sure you come to the wrap-up party. I mean,
It's going to be fun.
Have some fun there. That's going to be fun too.
And I need to say the wrap party is going to be super duper fun because everybody gets to be on camera with an open mic. We're not recording that evening, so everybody can come and join in the fun. It's a cocktail party with social distancing is essentially what it is, and I'm going to give away some more stuff. So
serious social distancing.
Yeah, wow. When I do things, I do them big. So, thank you, Diana and Joan, for doing the math. It's 120 slips for June.
Nope.
Some authors might buy more than one, and some already have bought more than one.
They messed up the math.
Yeah?
Yeah, because you have to remember that there are several workshops during the month that will take up some of that time.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
And we have 7 o'clock and 8 o'clock available time slots. So we have room for a lot. That's 8 people plus workshops per night. So
it's a lot.
I'm not doing the math. I'm not, because it'll make my head hurt. I'm not doing it. But it's a lot, but not extensive a lot. Like, it's going to fill up really fast because I'm getting new people signing up almost every day. So get on the board, come aboard, join the insanity. You'll have a good time.
It's going to be great.
It is. Everybody, thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it. We're going to have an awesome time. Joan, I will be exhausted, but it's a good exhausted, and I can spend August at the cabin, so it'll be okay. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Have a wonderful evening. Talk to you all tomorrow night for Andrew's workshop. Don't miss it. Bye-bye.
Bye.